What if I fail? Well, this is a hard question that I've come up against a lot in the past several months, past couple years, very recently in my life. What if I fail? What if you couldn't fail? Is a better question, I believe. I've been working on myself, changing my perspective, looking at things from a different point of view, trying to understand a little bit more in depth why something was a failure. And if something is a failure, but let's say I extract a lesson from that failure, let's say I learn from that failure, is it actually a real failure? I don't think so, because it's a learning experience, and that's what life is, and that's really cool. Like there's a lot of quotes out there, like if you knew you couldn't fail, how far could you go? Something along those lines. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? What would you try to accomplish? I think there's such a huge opportunity to try different things, experiment, learn, grow, fail, but you're not going to really fail, because if you start to ask yourself, where's the opportunity to learn in this experience, then you're able to take yourself out of the situation and look at things from a different perspective and break it down. And that really opens up the doors to unknown possibilities, which is incredibly awesome as a human being. And as we journey on this life, on this freaking rock that's flying through space, and we don't have a known amount of time that we're going to be on this rock flying through space. But if we could capture and compound and grow and try and test and learn and just do all these awesome things and accept that we're not going to be perfect, accept that we're going to struggle, accept that failure is going to happen. But then when failure happens, you look for the opportunity to learn from that failure, and you get up, you dust yourself off, and you keep moving forward. You go after it again. But this time, you try a different way. You don't do the same thing you did before, because that led to failure. That led to a learning experience. Instead, now when you approach this obstacle that you're trying to accomplish or work through or get past or attain, now you can approach it from a different perspective, a different standpoint, because you can look back and reflect in the failure. And when I say you, I mean me. I've had this revelation of looking back at failures and looking even like the most painful experiences. Like I just had to break my heart one time, and I just like, where's the opportunity to learn in this experience? Because if I can find an opportunity to learn and capture and work on that, then when I come up against this problem or obstacle in the future, I have these tools that I've learned to help work through them. You know, there's really no failure out there. It's only the opportunity to learn and get better and try again. And that's the key point, is that if you don't succeed at first, continue to try and try again until you do succeed, until you find that way to get through that obstacle. And I think there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. You can look at online. There's so much information out there that we have available to us. It's like information overload. That's something you have to be, careful of, and you have to watch out who you're, consuming content from, because what you put in your mind does matter. But there's so much opportunity to ask a question online or through AI, and maybe you don't find the specific answers, but find the concepts that get you closer to the specific answers to your specific questions. It's all concepts. Everything is concepts. Every brand new day is a brand new day for everyone. It's a day that's never been experienced before. So You work on what you've learned, you apply it as best you can, and when you come up against a fire or a roadblock or an obstacle, attack it from how you know how to attack it from what you learned in the past. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't go forward, if you air quote fail, I don't know why I did the air quotes because you can't see me. I guess I did say air quotes. So anytime I say air quotes, just assume that I'm doing the air quotes because that's just what I do. But if you can come up against these obstacles, if you come up against this failure and you're able to take yourself out of the situation, put yourself in a higher perspective and ask yourself, where is the opportunity to learn from this? Journal on it, write it down, reflect on it, marinate on it. But you have to look for that opportunity to learn, and then you have to apply what you're learning when that obstacle comes up again, and it will most definitely come up again because the universe is always testing us. We're always being tested. That's just how life is. Or at least that's how my life is. If you're not being tested, then I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because the more I'm tested, the more I grow. The more opportunity I have to grow into the person I'm meant to be. And that is incredibly exciting for me as I'm going on this adventure of life. And that's what it is, a crazy adventure where we can become anything we really want. But it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of persistence. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of failure. It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of drive. But it's so worth it because who am I going to be on the other end of whenever? What is my legacy? Will I be satisfied with what I did with my life? That's a good question. I should answer that.